Today's guest is Dr. James Trapp. He is president of the Trapp Group and is former president and CEO of Unity Worldwide Ministry. And he currently serves as Senior Minister of Worship at the Spiritual Life Center and Interfaith Unity Ministry in Sacramento, California. So, Dr. Trapp, I see that your mission is to help people live their best life now. What does living your best life mean to you?
That's a very good question. There are several elements that I believe helps a person live their best life now. I think number one and most important is that they have found their purpose and their reason for being here in this world. That's number one, because I believe that each of us have unique gifts, have unique talents and capabilities that no one else has. They may be similar, but no one is like me or you or anyone else. And we're here to discover that and tap into that and to live that out. The second thing that I believe is important to living your best life now is to enjoy and be grateful for where you are in the moment. Because that really helps you, give you the energy and the vitality and the vigor, a sense of gratitude of where you are now, even if it's not exactly where you want to end up. The third thing is to begin to create a vision of where you want to be. So while you're enjoying or being grateful for where you are and appreciating that, you're also creating a vision of where you want to go, so you have something to look forward to if you want to upgrade your life. And then the fourth thing that I would say is important is to see everything as either something to enjoy or something to learn from. And if you see it from that perspective, then you're doing pretty well.
Okay, so how did you come to make that your mission?
Well, as you pointed out in the introduction, when I was about 7 years old, I was abandoned by my mother. And when that happens to someone in their life, mostly unconsciously, there's a sense of unworthiness or a void that you have when the most important person around you disappears and you don't know why. And you start creating a story around that. And I had that sense of unworthiness, or there was something not good enough about me. And what I sought to do to fill that up, or to fill up a void that I thought I created, was to be successful in the outer, be successful in school. And I did do that and had some success, and then went on to go to wonderful schools and have a great education and practice law for a while. But what I discovered is that when you try to get satisfaction from something outside of you, what follows that is a sense of dissatisfaction if you have not addressed how you truly feel inside. And as a result of having that dissatisfaction after external success, I ended up trying to cope with riotous living, as I like to call it. Drugs and alcohol in my life just simply deteriorated. And as a result of going through that process, I really reached a bottom in my life. And through a series of events, a person directed me to some teachings that caused me to transform my life, to live it like I never lived it before, in a very positive, grateful way. And I practiced, my own self-forgiveness and letting go of baggage of the past. I began to recreate, the stories of what my life has been and what it could be. And I began to see myself and the world differently. And as a result of seeing myself and the world differently, I acted differently and created a new life and began to live, what I would consider my best life now.
Mm-hmm. Now, does everyone have the ability to live their best life now?
I believe absolutely. I believe that because we are all here with a special gift to give, with a special purpose to live out. And I believe our world, our communities, our society, our organizations, our families need our gifts. And as we remember and express those gifts and our talents and our uniqueness in our life, then we begin to attract and see everything that will help us be successful and to live a splendid life, to live our best life now. So what we have to do is get on task of uncovering why we're here, what is it that is unique about us, live that out, and then I believe our life will unfold wonderfully.
Mm-hmm. Well, then, I see people are not living their best lives now. So what is stopping them from doing that, living their best life now?
Well, I've had an opportunity to work with people over the years and counsel people and coach folks and consult with them. And I believe one of the things that I find in common is that they've accepted messages about themselves or about their life that is not true. They may have been somehow the things that in their life that they believe to be who they are, what they should be, and they know that. They get it maybe miseducated or educated out of them. Or they begin to accept messages that they should be doing something other than what their heart's desire tells them they ought to be doing. And they begin to get caught up into what society says or what the family says or what their family members or parents may have told them what they ought to do, rather than listening to their own guidance and living that out. So I think a lot of times we begin to accept messages about ourselves that's not in alignment with who we are, and that causes all kinds of grief and just unsatisfaction in our life.
Well, so I guess you have seen a lot of people and you have coached and counseled a lot of people to live their best life now. Can you give a specific example? You don't have to give their real names or anything. Just give a specific example of someone who was not living their best life, and then after working with you, they are actually living their best life now.
Yes, yes. Well, there was a person who was in a job that they really dreaded. They just dreaded getting up every day and going to that job. Most of their life, they really had a desire to teach or to inspire other people and to help them find the things that they love in life. And this person, had a desire to be a speaker. They had not really done that in their life. And I said, well, there's nothing that's stopping you from beginning to pursue that if you have that as your heart's desire. And one of the things that I tell people that even though they may not be able to jump right in totally and completely to what they want to do right at the moment, I say just get started in some small way. And what this will happen, it will make even your other job more enjoyable, because now you have something to look forward to that you can look at, and it'll give you a whole different charge on what you're doing now that may not be what you want to do. It may be something that's your near gift, but it's not your true gift. But as you work more and more on your true gift, even the things that you're doing as your near gift become more enjoyable. To make a long story short, that person began to take up instruction and workshops and seminars on speaking. They began to do a little bit more. They started getting speaking engagements. And after a certain point, they began to do that full time, and they just enjoy their life like they've never done it before.
That's wonderful. So I guess the secret is to just kind of get started, right? Just get started in some small way.
Yes, you have to begin. As someone said, no one can move or park a car that's stationary. It has to be moving. And the more you move, the more momentum you start getting, the more confident you start becoming, and you begin to get traction till you get a critical point of energy, and it starts really taking over your life.
So if someone wants to start their best life now, what steps would you suggest they do first, and then next? Just a couple of steps.
Well, I think first, I think our best life is about who we have come here to be. I know that's kind of general, but I think there's certain qualities that we've come here to express. And what I suggest people to do is to look at all the people that they admire. Just make a list of about 5 or 6 people that they admire. And then, beside each of those names, what are the qualities that you see in that person that you admire? And then narrow that list down to maybe 5 or 6 key qualities that seem to repeat themselves. Because I tell folks that if you can see it in someone else, it is also in you waiting to be expressed. And so as you narrow down those 5 qualities, simply at the top of that card, you put it on a card, and you say at the top of the card, this is who I have come here to be. And you then write those qualities under that statement, and then at the end say, I know this is true because I see it in others. And you make that your card. You walk around with that, and you look at that every day, reminding you of who you are. And then you begin to start embodying those qualities and living them out no matter what you're doing. And then you'll begin to find more and more ways to express those qualities in your life. I would start with that. Get those qualities down and make that your card. And anytime you get off your card when you're not feeling totally in sync with who you are, pull the card out and read it again. And that will help you get back on track. That'll be the first step.
That's a wonderful suggestion. Yeah. All right. So is there a next step?
Yes, the next step. Once you're walking around with those qualities and you really embody them, the next thing you need to do is really become still and quiet and ask yourself, if I could create my very best or ideal day, what would that look like? You know, just get as detailed as you possibly could get, and say, when I get up in the morning, this is the kind of food I'm eating. When I get up in the morning, these are the kind of people I'm conversing with. When I go away from my home, this is the car I'm driving. These are the kinds of people that I'm meeting. These are the kinds of conversations that I'm having. This is the kind of work that I'm doing. And really begin to create in as much detail, this is my ideal day. And spend some time on creating your ideal day. And then, in addition to carrying your card, you create that as your vision for your life. And every morning, you read it over. Every night, you read it over until it becomes embodied in every part of your cell. And then you take a step, the first step to move toward living that ideal day, and you do something every day that helps you move in that direction. And as you make that part of your mindset, you will begin to see, you'll begin to do things that will be in alignment with that ideal day, and you'll begin to get closer to realizing that as your life.
Now, to do that ideal day exercise, would it be helpful to make a vision board, or are you just running a movie of your ideal day in your mind?
Well, I think those are enhancers to creating your ideal day. Once you set the vision for yourself, there are other things like the vision boards, which I have used and others have used in their life. You can create, a statement, that you just read over every day. And as you do that, you see the vision board, you look at it, and you forget about it. You go about your day. As you read your statement of what that vision is, a couple times a day, first thing in the morning or before you go to bed at night or go to sleep at night, after a certain point, it will become a movie in your head. I really believe a movie in your mind. And then you'll begin to see all the things that are around you that will help bring that movie into reality.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yes.
I'm gonna try to make a movie in my mind of my vision.
Yeah, well, sometimes we have movies in our minds and they're horror movies. So we want to get rid of that movie and create a really splendid, joyful movie in our life.
Ah, yes, living a splendid life. So
Yes.
how are you living your splendid life right now?
Well, a couple of things that I'm doing. I am the senior minister of worship at an organization called the Spiritual Life Center here in Sacramento, and I'm able to utilize my gifts to share the principles of spirituality that have been helpful to me, and to share that with other people each week as I give them a lesson. I have an opportunity now to create my own spirituality enterprise, in which I do coaching, I do keynote speaking, I have an opportunity to start creating, products. I have a series called um, Powerful Beyond Measure, with a company workbook to help people really discover the power within themselves. So I have an opportunity to share what has been so helpful to me in my life with other people, because that's my mission. I want everyone who's open and receptive to living and upgrading their life and finding their purpose, and living a life that's charged up to learn these things, because I get charged up whenever someone else discovers these things and apply them in their own life, because it gives my life joy to see that happen with someone else. So that's what I do. So I'm doing some writing now, or writing a book on how to apply these principles. And anytime I have an opportunity to share it with speaking, I do that as well.
Yeah, it sounds like a very full and satisfied life that you have.
Yes.
Yeah. So I see you have a website www.jamestrapp.com, and
Yes.
that's where people can go to learn more about your products and coaching and things like that, right?
That's correct. Just go to that, and if they would like, I have some reports that I also give out. If they want to send me an email, where you can just send a contact information, I can send them a report on how to make a big decision. If you're facing something, making a big decision that's keeping you up at night, don't know how to go about making a decision from many options, that's available, as well as 9 principles to living your best life now, which is a free report they can get if they make a request for it.
All right, that's great. So hopefully our audience will go right over and check it out. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Trapp, for this lovely interview. And I just want to thank our audience too.